Add Polynomials Intro. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and add the following polynomials together. So what we want to do first is just get rid of the parentheses and write what you see on the inside. So as long as there's no negative signs, so as long as you do not have this, a negative sign in front of the parentheses, you can write whatever you see on the parentheses on the outside. If you have a negative sign, well, we're going to go over that when we go to subtraction. So the first parentheses, there is no negative sign there. So what I can do is simply write down d to the second plus 6d plus 9. Okay, I'll move to the next parentheses. There is no minus sign in front of that. So I can write this as a positive d to the third plus 6d plus 9. So now what I want to do next is I want to look at what I have here. I want to look at my degrees. And what I do is I use symbols. And the symbols I use are circles. And I'm going to go ahead and circle the largest. Then I'm going to put a box around the next one. As I move my way down the term, I'm going to use a triangle. And then if I need some more, I start to underline. So I might use a single line, a double line, and maybe even a triple line. So I'm going to, what I call this is coding the problem. So I want to recognize what is the highest degree here. Well, the highest degree is to the third power. So I want to circle. Now my next highest is d to the second. And make sure that you include the sign. So let's put a box around that. So when you circle, make sure you include the sign, a plus sign or a minus sign. So now I want to go ahead and put a triangle around the single letter D's. And then I'm left with the constant, which I'll just simply underline. So if I do it this way, what I'm looking at is shapes. I've got a box and I got a triangle, I got an underline, I got a circle, I got a triangle, and I got an underline. This circle right here, this circle is your highest degree. So I know what my highest degree should be, d to the third. Now I only have one box here and it's right there, and that's d to the second. So let me go ahead and write in d to the second. Now there's no sign in front of d to the second, so you write it as a plus sign. Okay, now I want to look at my triangle. On my triangle, I have two triangles there. So I want to use what's known as the coefficient. So I want to use the coefficients there. So the triangle, since I have two triangles, I go to the coefficient, which are the front numbers, and I simply take 6 plus 6. So 6 plus 6 is 12. So my next term is going to be plus 12, and now I'll write down the letter D. My next and last one are my constants, and what I have here is 9 plus 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18. So again, after you do your addition, what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's in standard form. Notice I've got a 3, I got a degree of 2, then there's 1, and then there's no degree shown there. Okay, so I'm going to type in the letter D. Now I'm going to press on this AB key, and that allows me to type in the exponent. Now I'm going to press the space bar. If you press space bar, you bring the cursor down, press the plus sign, press the D. Now go back to the AB key. That gives you an exponent of 2. Press the space bar, and now we're going to type in plus 12. Now we'll type in the letter D after that, and then we'll go plus sign 18. So let's check this, and it's correct. Okay, so again, just take a look at what I did. I use a coding method, and the coding method tells me, what is the highest, and there's only one circle. There's only one box, that's the next highest. But see, I got the two triangles, so I'm going to use the coefficient, and I'm going to add those together to get the 12, and the letter D after it. And then I'm going to underline the 9, add the two constants together to get 18. So let's go to the next problem. Okay, again, we're adding here, and again, you want to look at your parentheses and just go ahead and make sure you do not have this. So though there's no negative signs in front of the parentheses, if it is, we're going to have to do something a little bit different at the start. So the first one is a positive there. There's no negative there, so we would write down what we see. So just go ahead and write down your terms that you see inside the parentheses. Now we go to the next parentheses there. There's a plus sign there, so it's not a minus sign. So we write down what's in there. So we're going to say plus 4c to the fourth plus 8c to the third plus 2c to the second. Okay, so I didn't change any of my terms because there was no negative signs there. So I want to look at the problem here, only look at the degrees. So if you scan the degrees, you see you have a 4, you have a 2, that's a 1, that's a 4, that's a 3, and that's a 2. So the highest exponent here is 4. So let's circle it. And here's another one to the 4, so let's circle this one. Now my next highest one is to the third. So I write this as a box. And my next highest one is a triangle. And then the last one I'm going to use is underline. Now again, I circle the highest terms, then I use a box for the next, when I work my way down for the next one, and then I go to the triangle, then I start to underline. So looking at this, we're moving away from the degrees and you know, things that make up the terms, and only looking at shapes. So we got the two circles here. So let me erase this. We have a little room to write. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the coefficients here. So you got a -3 and a +4. So it's a -3 and a +4. So I'll come up here, I'll write in the -3 plus 4. Now with the integers, the negative is what I owe you. So I owe you 3, I should pay you 3. But you see, I overpaid. I gave you too much. I only should give you $3. I gave you back 4. So anytime I see a negative, that's the money I'm paying you back. So I should give you 3. I gave you 4. So this is a 1. So for the c to the fourth, we just have a 1. So we just write down c to the fourth for that term. Now we only have one box that contains the 3. So we'll simply go plus 8c to the third. Now we'll go to the triangles. What the triangles have here is a -5. So you have a -5 plus 2. So you see, I owe you $5. I owe you $5, but I'm only paying 2. I owe you 5, but I'm only giving you 2. So I need to pay you 3. Anytime I need to pay you, that's going to be a negative. So I need to pay you 3, that's going to be a negative. So this is going to be a -3c to the second power. And then the last one we're going to is just what we underlined. And notice we underlined one term, so this is going to end at -7c. So this should be my answer. So I have c to the fourth, 8c to the third, minus 3c to the second, minus 7c. And this is in standard form. Remember, standard form goes from the highest exponent to the lowest exponent. Now we're going to type this in. So I'm going to press in C. I'm going to press the AB key. That allows me to put down the exponent. That's a 4. Now press your space bar on the computer. It brings the cursor down. So now I'm going to press plus, I'm going to press 8, and then I'm going to go C and I'm pressed the AB key, and that gives me 3. Okay, now press the space bar. There's a minus sign, and then we have a 3, and then we have a letter C, but we need to write it as an exponent, so let's press the AB key. So the AB key is 2. Press the space bar, so we have minus the 7 followed by C. So let's go ahead and check that, see if that's correct. So let's move on to the next problem. Again, we're looking for, we're looking at the parentheses, and what you're looking for here is any negative sign in front of the parentheses. So anytime you have a negative sign in parentheses, we're going to do something different with that. So let's look at the very first parentheses. There is no negative sign there, so we simply say negative m to the second plus 6. We go to the next parentheses, there's no negative sign there, so we say negative 4m to the second plus 7m plus 2. So now we're ready to code. When I code, my highest is a circle, then I use a box, then I use a triangle, and then I finish up with the underline. So the circle is my highest, followed by the triangle, followed by the box, then the triangle, then what I underlined. So let's look at our exponents, and our exponents, our highest one is to the second power. Now notice I captured the sign. So when I had this negative m to the second, I want to include the negative sign. Some students, what they'll do is they'll circle this way. So now what you've created is you've created m to the second to be positive. You got to capture the sign. You can't leave the sign out. If you leave the sign out, then of course the number is going to be, and there's a difference. And there's a difference between a positive and a negative. So make sure there, include the sign there. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the negative 4 to the second. I'm going to circle that. Now my next shape down is my box. I'm going to put in my box, and then I have but 2 constants left, so I can use triangles for these. So those are my triangles there. So what do I have? I have a circle, a triangle, a circle, a box, and a triangle. So let me erase this section here, because right here in this section here we're going to put our coefficients in there. So now notice the negative m to the second is by itself. So what you can do is you can write in a 1 there. So now you have a negative 1 minus 4. Now what's happening here is I went to you and I borrowed $1. So you gave me $1. I went back and you gave me $4. So I now have $5. But the thing is, I need to pay you back. Anytime I need to pay you back, that's a negative. So this is going to turn into a negative 5m to the second. Now the box, there's only one box there, so we're going to just say plus 7m, so you copy what you see. Now as for the coefficients, we write down the positive 6, we write down the positive 2, and notice it just turns to addition. So 6 plus 2 is 8. So this is a plus 8. Now we do have this in standard form, so we want to type our answer in, because you can see that it's got to be in standard form. So we start with the negative sign, we type in a 5, we put the letter m. Now press the AB key. That allows you to put the exponent in. So you have a 2, press your space bar, press the space bar, that brings the cursor down. Then we want to put on a plus sign, we want to press in 7m, then we want another plus sign, and then we have an 8. So when we check this, let's see if this is correct, and it is correct. So let's go to the next question. Okay, next question. Again, we're adding, and the very first thing you want to do is look at your parentheses, and you're looking for any minus signs that are in front of that parentheses. So the first parentheses, there is no negative sign there. So what we can do is we can just write what we see. So we can say negative 4b to the third plus letter b minus 1. Okay, now the next parentheses, you do have a plus sign in front. So what you can do here is just go plus 6 letter B minus 6. Okay, so now we want to code this. Remember, the circle is my highest. The box is the next. Actually, I'm working my way down, is the next highest. So it's like second place, we could say. The triangle would be the third highest, or third place. And then I'd start to underline. I could use a single line, I could use a double line, and I could use a triple line. So that allows me to do like 6 terms or even more than that. I mean, I could keep going with the lines. Okay, so we look at their exponents, and they're actually called degrees. So the highest degree here is 3. Now the next highest degree is the single letter b's. So we want to put in the box the plus b, then we want to put in the box the 6b, and then we finish up with the constants. So we put the constants in each box, or actually each triangle there. So I shouldn't say box, I should have said triangle. So the circle contains the highest, and then as we move our way down, second place is the box, and the third place is the triangle. Notice you only have one circle there, so you write what you see. Now as for the boxes, you got the single B here, and this single B, what you can do is, to make it a little bit easier to understand, is you could simply write down a 1 in front of it. So I'm going to erase this stuff up here on top because we don't need that anymore. And from this, let's go ahead and take our coefficients that we have. So my coefficient for the box, I have a 1 and I have a 6. So 1 plus 6 is 7. So I have 7, but don't forget about your letters. So that's 7b. Okay, now we're going to go to the triangle, and notice I have 2 triangles there. So this is a -1 minus 6. Well, I went to you and I borrowed $1, so I have $1. I went back and I've got $6 from you. So altogether I have $7 that I got from you as a loan. But with any loan, you need to pay it back. So I need to pay the -7 back. So I need to pay, so need like the negative sign, that's going to be a negative. In this case here, a -7. Notice it's in standard form, so it goes from the highest to the lowest. So we have 3, we have a degree of 1, and then there's no degree shown there. So let's type it in. So let's press in the minus sign. Let's press in the 4. Let's put down the letter B. Let's press the AB key. So our exponent is 3. Press your space bar, it brings it back down. Press your plus sign. Okay, then you have your 7, then your letter B. Now this time we need a subtraction sign and then a 7. So let's see if this is correct.